Hey guys, DIY Salvage Guy here, and welcome back to another episode of my channel. Today's episode, we're going to be going over plastic welding. This is the most important skill that I have learned during this entire process. I'm going to be using this to basically bring every single plastic piece back to life that I've had in this process. So this build, I have broken headlights, I have broken trim pieces, I have a broken bumper that I'm going to be repairing with this process as well. This thing is so useful, and I use it over and over and over again. And the $15 part that I bought from Harbor Freight Tools, I could not be happier with. If you guys are new here, I want to welcome you. Give you a little bit of background about my channel. I have no mechanical background, no experience in this stuff. I just have a love for cars. So all I'm going to do is basically just learn as I go, and I'm going to try to inspire you guys to try to become a DIY salvage guy yourself. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you hit the post notification button. It's down there right next to the subscribe button. That way you guys can stay up to date on the build and any other videos that I post as well. Throw me some comments, because I love the support that you give me. And I want to interact with you, and I want to learn and grow so that I can get better and continue to provide support to you guys as well. Make sure you guys are also following me on Instagram, where I post updates to the build and sneak peeks of other things before I post them on YouTube. You guys will see reveals of the new build and anything else that doesn't make its way to YouTube as quickly. So I'll post the link down below, so make sure you guys hit that, and make sure you follow me over on Instagram. So I want to give you guys a quick walkthrough of the iron that I am using for the plastic welding kit. I got this, I want to say it's 15 bucks at Harbor Freight Tools. It is phenomenal. So, now this kit's used, obviously. It comes with metal mesh. Now you want to use this, I learned this throughout the process, you want to use this to reinforce the plastic itself. If you're doing small things, you can't get it in there, that's fine. But when I get to the bumper repair and I show you guys that, I'm going to be using large portions of this, also in the headlight tab as well. You got the stand for the plastic welder. You got the plastic welder itself. This is the iron. So what this does is plug it in, it gets super hot. I want to say it gets up to like 550 degrees, and it basically just melts the plastic onto contact. It creates pretty noxious fumes when you're melting plastic, obviously. So I always recommend having a fan just basically blowing the fumes away from you. Have them blow outside the garage or wherever you're working, just so you're not breathing that stuff in. Got this metal brush. I use it right after I'm welding itself, just to clean that off. And then they also give you this plastic filler rod. This is more or less a universal filler rod, but you have to be careful when you're using plastic welding, because there are different types of plastic, obviously, and you want to make sure that you're using the correct type of plastic. Now, this universal filler rod actually was the same plastic for the headlight tabs, the ballast tabs, and it was also, thankfully, the same plastic for the bumper as well. All of your plastics are going to have a marking on them as to what it is. This is the kit that I use. They have different ones. They have hot air welding, but I've never done anything with the plastic welding before, so I bought this very inexpensive kit. I would highly recommend it. I would buy it again. And so that is basically what you guys are going to see me using for this entire episode, and also when we get to the bumper, I'm going to be using this quite a lot as well. So this is the old headlight that came off of the, this is the passenger side. You can tell this is completely destroyed, but there are some good usable parts on here. So what I'm going to be taking off is these ballasts on the bottom. So you can see these are pretty much already disconnected. Just going to take some Torx bits, take these out, basically just take off any parts that I can use on here. And that way maybe resell some of the things, try to recoup some money. I don't know if anyone wants anything on this, but we'll see what we can accomplish with recouping any of our losses on this right now. Hey guys, so the plastic part on these clips actually has busted off. All three of them are completely busted off, but I do have the tab still. So I'm going to attempt to use a plastic welder that I got from Harbor Freight Tools. I'm letting it heat up right now, making sure that it's as hot as it can be. And I'm going to attempt to try to just weld these back on. Hopefully it'll work. I don't think it'll be too big of a deal if I can't get them to be back on, but we'll try to glue them on if not, and just so that we get some kind of support, because all three of the screws are actually off. So I'm going to set the camera up and we're going to see if I can actually plastic weld this back together. Next thing I'm going to have to do is actually do this on the headlight itself, because one of the tabs is actually broken. So I'm going to be plastic welding that as well. Alright, so I'm going to give this a shot. My iron is nice and hot right now. So I lined up all the tabs. Hopefully you guys can see this on the video. Just basically going to attempt to try to put this on here and see how I can actually just weld this on. I'm just lining it up. Tab should be good. And I'm just going to place this right in the corner and hope that it will get together. So you can tell that it's definitely not the cleanest job, but it did work. So the strength seems pretty good. So I'm happy with it. I think it should hold up pretty well. It worked out pretty good. So I'm not going to put too much pressure on it, but it should do the job to hold what I need it to. So I'm going to do it on the other two tabs. Alright, so staying in the same realm of plastic welding, this other little clip, I guess this little tab is busted off a little bit. It looks like they tightened down the bolt too hard. So we're going to take the plastic welder and do the same thing. This one should be a little easier to see. So first thing I'm going to do, just line it up nice and good. So the weld seems to be working pretty well. Now I am going to have to take off the bottom part, or this bracket, to get to the bottom part. But pretty happy with this right now. So the stability is greatly increased right now. So we're just going to hit that other side of the tab with the plastic welder. Should be a nice easy weld. It's right on top. Push it together. Let it cool for a quick second. And then we'll just give it a little wiggle. And if it wasn't so ugly, I'd say it was perfect. Alright, so we're going to line it up, put a little pressure on it, and we should be able to just weld it up together. Alright, I think it held up pretty well. You know, let it sit for a second. So it's staying together, should be okay. Looks good. So I'm just going to touch this up a little bit more. Some of the spots that I might have missed. Alright, so that tab is repaired. Got this headlight for $200. Couldn't be happier with that. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change these headlights. The ones that came in both headlights, I don't know what their bulb luminosity is, so we're going to put both of these in. I heard that these is a little difficult. I had a little trouble when I was swapping out the bulbs originally, so I'm going to try to make the most of it and see what I can do with this. Hey guys, so this is the air baffle that goes into the auxiliary radiator. So when it got into the accident, or when the vehicle got into the accident, it made a pretty nasty chunk. You can still see where it is right here, all the nastiness and everything that was here. So it made a nice big crack. It pretty much cracked the entire area. So what I did was, I've been experimenting with plastic welding a little bit. And I could have got another one of these, but you know, I just don't feel like spending any more money on these useless parts that Audi feels the need to just price gouge you on. You know, these things are about $100 each, and there's just no reason to do that. So, continuing on with my Chicago Electric plastic welding kit. Comes with, as I said in the past, comes with these little plastic tab things that you use in order to weld on. So what I did, I didn't really know how it would come out, that's why I didn't film this part, but I'll film the bottom part. But basically I just laid it one by one, just over and over and over and over. And on this side, I just welded them all together. Now it doesn't look too pretty right now, but I'll sand it up a little bit and make it look a little nicer. So I'm going to do the other side and just make sure that it's all like welded together so that we don't get any like whistling or anything going on. It's not going to be pretty, but it doesn't really need to be. It's the, you know, it's under the bumper, it's connecting to the radiator. Like no one's ever going to see it unless you're taking the car apart, and you probably got bigger problems at that point. So everything that I'm doing with this, I'm trying to be as budget friendly as possible. Continue on with this mentality in this, guys, and you know, you don't have to pay all the money to Audi or to BMW or whatever car you're doing. You just have to be a little ingenious, and this is something that I think is very simple to do, and not the prettiest, but it does work out pretty well, so I'm good with it. Just want to show you guys the finished product here. So on the inside you can see that it's completely sealed. You know, it's really sturdy. I'm really happy with this right now. On the other side, we melted it all down, and we basically have the same situation here. So I made sure that there's no pinholes. You might have saw me with the time lapse looking through the light and everything, but you know, it's really solid. So saved about $100. Learned a little bit. One thing I do want to point out, guys, is that if you are doing plastic welding, make sure you have ventilation. Make sure you have a fan just blowing the fumes away. Get all that stuff out of there, and make sure that you guys are safe with it all, because you don't want to be breathing in this plastic fumes. Alright guys, so you saw me do a lot of plastic welding in this video. I was able to do the headlight, I did the tabs on the bezels and everything, and I also did this little air baffle as well. You saw me do these tabs as well, so I'm going to see if I can kind of build something here. I'm not certain, but I do have 3 of the clips, so we'll see how it actually goes on and everything. But overall, plastic welding saved a lot of money as well. Took a little time and took a little effort, but it was definitely something that I'm very happy that I came up with and learned about. So that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. You saw me basically do a lot of plastic welding. I cannot stress this enough, that this is one of the most important skills that you can learn from this. You got body repair, you got painting, you got all these other things, but the things that are going to break the most on you are these little plastic parts. And a Audi headlight alone is $1,500 from the dealer. You can get junkyard ones for $700. I got one for $200 because it was destroyed with the tabs. So I basically threw some plastic weld on there, got it all back to being good, and I saved a lot of money from doing that. So you saw me do it on the headlights, you saw me do it on the ballast for the headlights as well. You saw me take the air baffle that has the for the radiator and kind of just weld that back together as well. Now, it wasn't the prettiest thing. I do get better at this as I go on, and I could sand that down a little bit, but you know, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's going to be behind the bumper. I don't have to worry about people seeing it or anything like that, so you know, it's fine for me. We'll be doing this on the bumper as well. This is, again, the most important skill that I have learned, and it's something that you can easily pick up and just kind of learn as you go. So if you guys are new here, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you have your post notifications on. The purpose of this channel is to learn as I go. I learned a valuable skill in this, and I hope that you guys will just pick up a wrench, pick up a tool, buy a car, do whatever you got to do, and try to become a DIY salvage guy yourself.